I remember in middle school sitting down in the girls' bathroom stall and turning my fingers into make-believe scissors, and I would pretend to cut the fat off my body. I would pinch my skin and say, if I could just lose this much fat, then I would finally feel beautiful and worthy and loved. And this belief shaped the next decade of my life. In middle school, I began participating in middle school sports, and so my body began to change and slim out, and suddenly I started getting all this praise from adults in my life saying things like, wow, she's really lost her baby fat. So this belief that if I just lost this much fat, then I would finally feel worthy and beautiful and loved was reinforced by those I felt safest around. And so because of all this attention, I felt worthy for a while. And then I got to high school and I realized that my body is still a middle school body. It doesn't look like these other high school girls. So I started Googling something that a 14-year-old had no business Googling. And I started researching, what do Victoria's Secret models eat? So I started eating 1,400 calories a day, cutting out carbs and sugar, working out more, even though I was still in sports. And I had a full-blown eating disorder. I was not eating near enough and I was over-exercising. But because I wasn't underweight yet, I started receiving praise again for the changes that were happening in my body. And so I felt worthy again for a while. And then I got involved in an emotionally and sexually abusive relationship, which just plunged me into anorexia. This reinforced this deep-seated belief that my body is an object that I can use in order to receive love and feel beautiful. I started taking any weight loss supplement that Dr. Oz would recommend. I became even more restrictive in my diet. I was counting calories, I was working out, and eventually I became underweight. Eventually I broke free of that relationship and started to gain weight, but not for the right reasons. At this point in high school, body standards had started to change from that of being really thin to that of being really fit looking. My emaciated body was no longer in. A more lean, athletic build was in, along with Kim Kardashian's butt. My body has never really fit that description. It certainly didn't when I was anorexic. And so I started pursuing fitness, and I came across this book, and I even hesitate to say the title because I don't want you to research it, but it was called Thinner, Leaner, Stronger: The Simple Science of Building the Ultimate Female Body. Yikes. At the time, this sounded like my dream book, and it convinced me that I could reduce my body, a beautifully intricate and distinctly unique gift created by God Himself, down to a one-size-fits-all equation. That I could somehow manipulate and build my body, as the title suggested, into something that would be culturally accepted, into the ultimate female body. This made me believe that there was one type of body that was considered a good body. And if I just followed the formulas and had enough dedication and willpower, that I would achieve that body. This book got me into macro counting and lifting, but it very quickly became an obsession where I would get very irritated if I missed even one workout. I even remember having Fitspo and Body Goals pictures on my mirror where I would work out in the basement. And every day after my workout, I would look my body up and down and see how much closer I got to this ultimate female body of all these pictures of different women that I wanted to look like. Pretty soon, the praise grew exponentially as people said things like, wow, you really look so much healthier. You look so much more lean and toned and muscular. You look really fit. Wow, I really wish I had your dedication. So I began to feel confident, but that confidence was rooted in pride, and pride is a really hungry monster. And I needed that constant validation to serve my idol, feed my pride, and to worship my body. Despite all this, my physical, mental, and spiritual health all began to deteriorate, and I never felt like my body was enough. I kept wanting to become thinner, leaner, and stronger. But because I appeared fit, others and myself believed I must be the epitome of health simply based on what my body looked like. I began developing pretty severe hormonal and gut issues, and wellness culture told me it was the food. So what did I do but become even more restrictive? Little did I know it was my obsession with fitness that was leading to my hormonal and gut issues. This is when I got into paleo and Whole30 and how all these foods are toxic and poisonous. And so I started restricting more and more food. And in college, macro counting was no longer enough to have perfect health and the perfect body. So I started taking out entire food groups, and that is where the binging began. It started off as a cheap meal on the weekend, but once I started eating the food that I typically restricted, I completely lost control. That cheat meal would turn into a cheat day, which would turn into an all-out binge fest. I would feel so guilty and so miserable from how much I ate that I would restart my diet on Monday, usually with some type of fast or detox to make up for all the bad food that I had eaten. This binging and restricting completely wrecked my metabolism. It made my hormones and gut health even worse. And then I began gaining weight. And any sense of worth that I thought I had earned by trying to achieve the ultimate female body, I felt like was shattered in an instant. This thin string that I had been hanging all my worth on was cut. And this was when the yo-yo dieting began. And I tried every diet under the sun: keto, intermittent fasting, lectin-free. Y'all, I was basically doing carnivore before carnivore was like even a thing. Nothing worked. I could maybe stick to my diet for a while and not binge, but anytime a party or holiday or just anything off routine came up where there was food that I wouldn't normally allow myself to eat, I could not live in the present moment because I was either constantly trying to suppress my overwhelming cravings, or I would lose complete control. I would binge and then feel so miserable from overeating. I even remember this one Christmas sitting around our dining room table with all my cousins and uncles, and we were playing 6 Point Pitch. It's one of my favorite card games that I grew up playing. And I remember I couldn't enjoy the present moment because all I could think about was how I wanted more food. And I remember looking around at the table, almost having this out-of-body experience as I realized everybody's just enjoying the present moment, not thinking about food. And I can't seem to get my mind off those cookies, off the dessert, off wanting that stuffing. Even though I felt miserably full, like I couldn't eat an ounce more, all I wanted to do was eat more. I felt so ashamed. I started working with a functional medicine doctor as my health continued to worsen, and she was able to help me a little bit, but nothing completely worked. And at this point, I was restricting so much food. I had gone on 2 elimination diets. I was spending tons of money on supplements. I was doing everything perfectly. I wasn't eating processed foods. I wasn't eating sugar. I was working out 6 days a week. I was counting my macros. And at this point in college, I was getting a degree in human nutrition and a degree in kinesiology. So I knew exactly how to create a meal plan and a workout plan to reach your goals. I spent so much time, so much energy trying to attain perfect health, and yet it just felt like it was slipping through my fingers like sand. And to make matters worse, I started to become more and more ashamed of my body. There was one summer during college when I didn't have a summer job. I was living at home completely on my own schedule, and I was able to somewhat stick to my diet enough to get somewhat of an influencer body. I spent hours developing the most pristine, perfect meal plan, workout routine possible. And even then, I still didn't look like half the influencers on Instagram. Even then, when I looked my most fit, I still hated my body and I still was having health problems. And then I started my school job, started a full-time class, and suddenly, I wasn't able to keep up with this perfect routine that I had created for myself. It was completely unsustainable in the real world. And guess what? My body began to change again. To make matters worse, I had once again experienced sexual abuse in college, which reinforced this belief that my body is an object. And I continued to treat it like one. I felt like my appearance was the only thing that gave me any worth. And if I didn't look perfect, if I didn't have the perfect diet or the perfect health, if I could show off my body, if I didn't set boundaries around my body, then and only then would I receive love. And I hit a low point. My spiritual, mental, and physical health were at an all-time low. I was binging again. I hated my body. And I had just been used by another guy. And I remember driving home from this guy's house thinking, I just gave my whole self to him. And if I died in a car wreck, I don't even know if he would come to my funeral. And I wept. I sobbed the entire drive home, and then I sobbed for hours in my bedroom. I was so tired of trying to constantly meet the world's expectations for beauty and fitness and health just to end up feeling worthless, feeling used, to have my body rebel against me in poor health, to be binge eating, and to carry so much shame around my body. And when I was at my lowest of lows, this is where God met me. He said, daughter, I've never called you to prove your worth. I've been patiently pursuing you. My hand has been outstretched, but in your attempt to earn love, you have denied my love. In an attempt to earn worth, you have denied my worth. In an attempt to earn validation, you have denied my validation. And the world has left you with nothing. Will you finally take my hand? Will you take off the masks so that I can see the beautiful daughter that I created you to be? I did not create you, your body, your soul, and its one-of-a-kind uniqueness just so you could suffocate it by trying to be someone you are not. I say to treat your body as a temple of the Holy Spirit, and I know you think you're doing that by getting fit, but I see right through you. I see your heart, and it is in torment. This is not how you steward your body, but I can show you how. You just need to trust me and know that my love is enough for you. And God sent me down this beautiful journey of healing where I got help from the right people. I began to find worth and identity in Christ. I learned how to trust and honor my body, how to heal my years of body shame. And now I can happily say that I no longer diet, I no longer binge eat, I no longer numb with food, I'm no longer having to constantly overcome oppressive cravings and food thoughts. I don't have to restrict food, I don't have to track food, and I finally feel comfortable in my own skin. I no longer carry this burden of body shame. And I finally learned what it means to be a true steward of your body. And it involves so much more than the perfect diet and the perfect exercise routine. I now practice intuitive eating, which is a non-diet approach. I focus on rest and boundaries, sleep, trauma, emotions, relationships, community, getting outside, eating enough food and a variety of it. I no longer feel guilty around food. I no longer feel afraid of food. I can eat 2 vanilla wafers, feel satisfied, and move on from them without worrying that, oh my word, this is a processed food, and without losing complete control. I can have a few, move on, and just enjoy the rest of my day. And despite the fact that I'm no longer eating perfectly clean, my health has never been better. This authentic stewardship of my entire person has led to peace, consistency, freedom, and sustainability around my health. It has been absolutely life-changing, and now I have the privilege of helping other women achieve these same results. I received an accredited health coaching certification specializing in self-sabotage and behavior change so you can learn how to break the dysfunctional habits, thoughts, and patterns that are keeping you stuck in body shame and in poor health, and how to build a truly healthy lifestyle for your body according to God's purpose for you. More importantly, I teach you how to heal the years of body shame and neglect that you have experienced. If you relate to any part of my story and are ready to experience freedom in your health journey, then hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so I can keep posting content that will help women just like you. And if you are done with dieting and you are ready to get the help and accountability that you have been longing for, the support that you deserve, then click the link below to sign up for your free discovery call to see how I can help. I can't wait to meet you and learn about your story, and I hope you stick around for more videos in the future.